Hello and welcome to my room. So March is pretty much finishing now, and that means one thing: March favorites. So March felt like a long week rather than a whole month, which has 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. So for March, I was pretty much on house duty. It was only a week, but not gonna lie, it felt long, and that means one thing: a lot of movies and a lot of music. So we've got a lot of music to go through. So without a further ado, so without wasting more time, let's jump right into it. Starting off with my music favorites. So for this month, my music taste has literally been all over the place. I feel like I've listened to every single category there was. So yeah, this list is gonna be a bit all over the place. Starting off, we have Clouds by Bunt and Nate Traveller. So this song is more on the techno end and is more upbeat. I mainly listen to this at the gym, and that's how I actually found it. I was at the gym, let the radio do its thing, and yeah, when the beat drops for this song, I kind of get a vision of like people dancing or raving. Side note, I haven't actually been to a rave, and it's like the lights flashing, and you know when it flashes really fast, everyone just feels like pictures and it's just like snapshots. I kind of get that vision of like a group of people moving in like snapshots, and it's just like a nice feeling when you're at the gym. Next on the list is also a song that I found at the gym. It's called Lucy's Revenge by FTL Frame. This song is less techno, it's kind of more drum and bass, I think, and it's a bit more like fluid. It's not choppy. I don't know how to explain it. It kind of reminds me of, you know, when you play Tekken or like Street Fighter and just the music in the background. It's kind of like one of those songs. So yeah, it just feels like you're working out to a Tekken home screen basically. Next, whilst keeping to the theme of gym, we've got old school Selena Gomez, and this includes Selena Gomez and The Scene as well. I kid you not, in the same session I would listen to all of these techno songs as well as Selena Gomez. I don't actually have much to say. It's just old school Selena Gomez. It's just old pop, but good pop. Some of my favorites that I like to listen to whilst working out include Love You Like a Love Song, The Heart Wants What It Wants, Naturally, and Slow Down. Good mixture and very old school, so thumbs up. Moving away from the gym stuff, the next song on the list is Rosalind by Bon Iver. Yeah, I think this song was made for the New Moon soundtrack, so you can find it on that album as well, and it's just such a nice slow song. I listen to it more when I'm about to read. It just gets me into like a nice headspace basically. This song is just so soothing, so calm, and it kind of makes me feel like I'm in the middle of a forest just by myself in solitude. And yeah, it just winds me down before I start to read, because I literally read right after I come from gym, so I'm all amped up. And then when I put this music on, it kind of like slows me down and brings me back, if that makes sense. Next on the list, we have the album Stranger in the Alps by Phoebe Bridgers. When it comes to this album, I already have 2 of the songs on my playlist, but those were the only 2 songs I actually knew of Phoebe's. And then one late night, I was just thinking to myself, why don't I actually listen to the whole album? And that's exactly what I did. Right before going to bed, I just listened to the whole album start to finish. And my God, was it so good. It was so good. I literally felt like an idiot for how late I left it. I should have listened to it much earlier. It's so good. The best way I could explain this album is sad. It is a very sad album. But this album also encapsulates solitude. Like, you just feel empty. It just feels like nothingness. Strangely enough, I found that feeling very calming. It's just like you and you alone. So yeah, I highly recommend listening to this album. I know it's a bit of an old one. It's like 2017, and I think there's a deluxe version which has a few extra songs that came out in 2018. So it's been quite a few years, and I just listened to it now. So some of my favorites from this album include Smoke Signals, Motion Sickness, Funeral, and Scott Street. Yeah, listen to them. Very good. Next on the list, we have Crystal by Matt Maltese. I discovered this song quite recently, to be honest. I think last week, early on this week. The song kind of feels old but new as well. The best way I could describe this song is kind of like indie pop, but not as poppy, if that makes sense. The whole feeling of the song just kind of feels old, and it's like, I was so excited that I showed my sister as well, and she's like, yeah, I showed you this before, but not gonna lie, I don't remember. And I found it from my Discovery Weekly, and I just fell in love with it instantly. It's kind of like a slow bop. You just kind of go like this to the song basically. The next song on the list also follows that retro pop feel, and that is Hurts Just Right by the Ivy. I've listened to the Ivies before. I've got a few of their songs on my playlist already, and I feel like they keep to the same sound, and that is like, it feels old but modern, and it's good. It works with them, like it works with the voice, it works with the production, like it just works. On this song specifically, It Hurts Just Right, bop, like absolute bop. You just bop in your head for the whole song. It's like I feel like it'll be a good car journey song, like when you go into a car ride. It just gives you that feeling. Like it just feels like the songs you just roll down the window to and you just stick your head out. It just feels like that. I haven't done that, and I don't think I will, but it feels like that. And the last song for my music favorites is Affection by Fiji Blue. I'm not gonna lie, this is the only song I know of Fiji Blue. I haven't actually delved into their discography, and I found this song quite recent as well, and it's just been on repeat over and over and over again. I swear to you, this song is so good. It's a song that somewhat feels familiar, but I haven't actually heard it before, but it just has a familiar feeling to it. And I don't know who actually sings it, because I think it's a band, but they've got a very soothing voice. Like they've got a very nice voice. And that's it for my music favorites. We move on to my fashion favorites. When it comes to fashion for this month, I've been in pajamas for pretty much the whole month, and I've gone out like once or twice. I haven't even brought new clothes. I haven't done vintage shopping. I've just been in pajamas. But on the few occasions that I did actually go out, I've been wearing these Dr. Martens. I think these are the 1460. Let's have a look. Yep. So I've been enjoying wearing the 1460 Dr. Martens. So these Dr. Martens aren't actually new. I haven't brought anything new for this month. I've brought these, I think, on my first year of uni, and I've only worn them a few times, and which I kind of find strange considering they're black boots, so they should be easy to wear and wearable with most things. But I don't think I'm much of a boot person, and I want to be a boot person slowly, like wear a bit more boots. And I found myself to actually be wearing these a bit more often this month. I've been pairing these up with brown corduroy trousers, which I know is a bit of a fashion iffy wearing black and brown, but I just feel like they look quite good. And yeah, I've been doing that and I've been liking it. And that was the only thing I had for my fashion favorites. We move on to movies. Starting off the list, we have You Drive Me Crazy featuring Melissa Joan Hart and Adrian Grenier. This movie is a rom-com, and I'm a guy who likes rom-com movies, and I've seen a lot, and I mean a lot of rom-coms. But strangely enough, I haven't actually seen this one before, so it was the first time I've actually watched this movie, and I really enjoyed it. Like, of course it feels like I've seen this before, because it's the same rom-com tropes from like the early 2000s. It's about this popular schoolgirl and this like indie alt boy faking a relationship to try and make the people that they're with jealous. Like, the boy broke up with his girlfriend, and the girl hasn't actually been asked out to the prom by who she wanted to be asked by. So it was like they were childhood friends, and they decided to like join forces and just kind of make them jealous and try and win them back. But because it's a rom-com, you could probably guess the ending, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's an easy guess. And I really enjoyed it. Like, for how cliche it is, it's a good watch. Next on the list is a classic. It is 10 Things I Hate About You. This movie is a classic rom-com movie. Like, if you haven't seen it by now, what are you doing? Go watch it. How do I explain this without it sounding confusing? Okay, so how do I explain this? It's about a boy who likes a girl, of course, but they can't go out unless her older sister goes out. That's the house rule basically. But her sister's like the girl that everyone's scared of. She's like a proper tomboy basically. So the boy hatches a plan to try and get someone to go out with her, if that makes sense. So they kind of like pay him off, but because they don't have the money to pay him to do it, they get a middleman who thinks, oh yeah, this is a good idea, I'll get the girl, basically. So it's just about that happening without no one finding out, and then yeah, that's the best way I can kind of explain it. I don't even know why I'm trying to explain it, just go and watch it. Next on the list is the Dragon Ball Broly movie. It's just a Dragon Ball movie. What can you expect from it? Fighting, action. But I'm so happy they made Broly canon and they've actually given him some character instead of just being a raging like he used to be. The whole movie is just pretty much them fighting and it's just such a hype movie. They even made Gogeta canon and I'm happy about that as well. It's just nice that everything's starting to be in universe. So yeah, it's just an exciting hype film. Like literally you could just turn your brain off. It's just fun watching Dragon Ball fights basically. It's just the whole fighting thing. And lastly on the list is a movie called A Silent Voice. If you're gonna watch this movie, I want to put a trigger warning out there beforehand because it deals with quite dark themes. It deals with like bullying, anxiety, suicide attempts. So yeah, just letting you know. This movie is about this bully who used to bully this deaf girl to the point where she had to transfer schools. And when she left, he ended up becoming the bullied. And he grew up to have like severe anxiety and communication issues. And it's just like a redemption love story between the deaf girl and the bully. And I feel like more than anything, it's a movie about accepting yourself and loving yourself. Even though I've seen this movie multiple times, this one time that I watched it, it actually got me in my feels. Like I felt it. It hit different. So yeah, that's why I made the list. Next, we move on to my miscellaneous favorites. So my next favorite do be the reason of all of these plasters on my hands. You might be thinking to yourself, what the heck did this guy do that he needs plasters? And the reason for the plasters is that I picked up rock climbing. More specifically, bouldering. For those who don't know, bouldering is a form of rock climbing, but it's more of the skill more than climbing up vertically. It's more of an obstacle course, if that kind of makes sense. So it's more skill reinforcement rather than climbing up. Yep, does that make sense? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So you essentially do smaller climbs which just help you practice your skills and technique. I've been only bouldering for 1 week now and I've actually really been enjoying it. Like it's on my favorites list, of course I'm enjoying it, but because my hands ain't used to it, like they get in the forefront battering basically. But yeah, it's really fun and it's a different kind of strength. It's not like going to the gym lifting up the weights. This is like a different kind of strength that is very humbling. I just want to say that, like it's a very humbling sport basically. The one thing I do need to do though is buy a separate bag for it. I put all of my stuff in basically my day-to-day backpack and by the time I finished, it's just all chalk. Inside and out, just chalk. But yeah, next on the list is the Webtoon Lookism. I think Netflix just came out with an anime adaptation of it recently. So this Webtoon is about the short, stubby, fat guy who actually wakes up in a second body who's tall and is pretty much a model. It starts off fun and like the dynamic of trying to split the lives. Then it real quick somehow turned into a gang manga. So it's just like gang wars basically, and it's interesting and fun to read basically. Next on the list is another webtoon called Maybe Meant to Be. This is kind of like a rom-com in a form of a webtoon basically. So this story involves a woman who's in her 30s basically, single, unmarried, and is essentially jobless, and a man who's pretty much got a good job and is also single and unmarried. And their parents on both sides are on their case on getting married. And then one day they bump into each other. They used to be childhood friends. And then they just say, you know what, let's get married. So now they get married and they're just trying to figure out their lives. And it's all contractual basically. So yeah, just funny watching their dynamics. Finally, but by no means last on the list, is this planner. This is a 2023 planner. It's just a planner I got from WH Smith. It's made from recycled paper. They didn't have much options, so I just ended up buying this one. This is my first planner slash diary like ever, and my god does it make everything so much easier. Just seeing everything written down alone is good enough. It kind of just gets your week organized and it feels good. It feels good to know what you're doing basically. And that's it for the list, and that's everything from my March favorites. Thank you for watching, hopefully you enjoyed, and bye bye, see you in the next one.